Hi, welcome to this unboxing video for HEXplore It, the domain of Mirza Noctis, a game from 2022 for 1 to 6 players that plays incredibly well as solo, lasting 60 to 180 minutes approximately, ages 12 and up, and complexity 3.6 out of 5. This game is designed by Kat Kimundri, Nathan Luce and Jonathan Mariucci, and it's a game published by the Mariucci Designs LLC. It's the 4th installment in the series of HEXplore It. All the games integrate with each other, and this is the biggest and most ambitious project out of them until now, because there is a 5th title in the works, from what I understand. This game is all about Vetelia, where the sun sets on a cold and desolate place, and once a beautiful land of craggy mountains, fertile valleys and deep bottomless charms, it has now wilted like a rose in winter. The small kingdom tucked away from the rest of the world has few rulers in its time, none certainly as evil as the current. It's rumored that Mirza Noctis came to power some 200 years ago, eternally youthful. The man is whispered to have controlled the bloodlines of this place, carefully arranging unions between noble families and killing those weaker bloodlines. So the game builds on the HEXplore It system, which we absolutely love here. It's a fascinating game. This now it's going to be a pure unboxing for the components, but we're going to follow up with additional video and material for the game. For those of you who don't know the game, you don't have to play them by sequence from 1 to the 2nd to the 3rd to the 4th title, which is the 4th one actually here. Of course, they have differences in terms of which of the title is more sandbox or more complex or more open world, or all this information which you can find from the website of HEXplore It. But my first and foremost advice would be pick up one that the scene and the universe makes more sense to you, then find out if this is what you're interested in, and then dive right away, if not already have any more titles to have the full series like the rest. So again, the game has various categories that can be classified as an adventure game, card game with dice, with exploration, fantasy. It has mechanisms like a cooperative game, dice rolling, hexagon grid, modular board, push your luck elements, among other, as well as tile placement and storytelling. So, horror game with miniatures and lots of adventure to explore. Let's open the box and see what we find inside. So, first of all, you can see that this is the thickest of the games and the most heavy. And I also like the fact that if you put them side by side on your shelf, this is the 4th installment, and they look like thick books with lore. This is how the game looks from the back. I like extremely the aesthetics of the game. Here is a dark world to discover, and there are lots of additional things for even for experienced players to discover in this box. So let's open the box to see what we find inside. Like always, this must be among the best boxes out there in the industry. Really thick cardboard, excellent quality, and matte print as well. So this makes it very sturdy, and for sure it will last long, both in gameplay but also in terms of durability of the components. Look at the detail on the art. I love how this box looks like. So without further ado, some baggies, some greeting memos, and as always, it's a custom and everyone expects it as such now. Always in the box you have an ad for the next title coming. So this is the 4th title, and this is an ad. Apparently, this is how I found out there is a 5th installment, The Mountains of Godai. So look at that. This is really looking extremely interesting. We have dragons and temples and completely different scene. So very much looking forward to this one. Of course, as always, there is a nice post with the art of the box on one side, and then the ad for the next upcoming title, which would be the volume 5. Okay, great, good news, excellent. Now, again, as I mentioned, this is the thickest of the boxes, which means it's also the most heavy and the most packed in terms of components. We have 2 booklets. Actually, we have 3 booklets. This is the first 2. We have the rule book, which it may seem that it have like 94 pages, so but don't be frightened, because not everything is really needed to start playing. It also has some additional information. It also has a lot of art and a lot of examples, so it's not that long to begin with. So we have the table of contents. There's a welcome and there's explanation. Here we have the rune stones. We didn't have rune stones before. So group minis, and you choose 1. Then explanation about the dry eraser markers and how they work. The very nice description of all the terrain and the event locations and everything explained. How you choose a hero, how you read the cards. So everything here is just basically to familiarize yourself with the components. Then you move to setup, and you have to choose your hero, which is a very big portion of this game. Then you set up the game board, and it looks absolutely amazing. And then you start with the gameplay. The turn overview, like always, you have determined day or night, then move the group, you roll this for your skills, then you roll a circumstance, you settle an event, you have the villain, which is Mirza Noctis, and then the next turn occurs. So everything explained, how you move the group, how you explore, how you roll for a circumstance, which is a big part of the game system. You settle an event, and then you have the villain turn. Everything explained really nice. It has a lot of examples, it has a lot of information, it has a very deep breakdown of everything. Dungeon game turn overview. So here you have something which is introduced for the first time in the HEXplore system, the dungeon, and I'm really looking forward to this. So this is a completely different approach. It has a different game turn overview. Okay, so you move your heroes, you resolve a rune stone, and then the villain Mirza Noctis takes her turn, and then you have your next turn. In here you have the investigations. The combat is explained. And there's some good examples here as well. The combat round overview. And then you have some rewards, some additional information, and everything is easy to reach and find. Now, different play styles. This is the first time we have this booklet in the series of the HEXplore games. And the reason for that is you can have different types of game play styles, and it's a very nice and welcome addition so that you can see all the details. So you have the different play styles. You have dual setups depending on which titles you're using, and everything is explained. So for example, you can double up. One player, marathon, split in groups, bounty hunter, brighted lairs, Castle Noctis, how it works, how you gain valor, the dungeon, how you use the dungeon in other volumes. Wow. And then you have some dual setups. So you can combine, as you can see, different core boxes to have a completely different experience. So this adds a ton of value, different map setups by combining specific titles. And again, as I mentioned, this adds a ton of value in the game. Absolutely amazing. Not only they're making new universes, not only they bring more lore, bring more story, more characters, but they also bring more playstyles, and this is fascinating. I think this is the thing that excites me most about the fourth installment in the series, among other things, of course. So, runestones, they go in this nice baggie. custom. We have the day-night metal token, which is extremely beautiful. Then we have some runestones. And runestones are new in the series. Look at that. They are beads and they are printed, so they look very nice from all angles. And you have in 4 different colors: the blue, the green, and the red. Okay. And then we have some wooden cubes. Okay. Also, I like the fact that we have more trays now, which gives a lot more flexibility even when playing, because you can put things aside, use them for playing the game, and then also use them for storing the game. Here are the different dice of the game. And here we have keepsake, races, and aspect. Let's see. The decks. These are the different new races included in the game. Just quickly showing you some options like the Dark Elf, or Miskia, or Corvus, etc. These are new races. So even more races if you have other titles. Then this is the aspect deck, where you can be a ghost, you can be a zombie, you can be reanimated, you can be a vampire, you can be Lycan, Dame, Blessed, Noble, Cultist, Peasant, Adventurer, or Craftsman. So really nice. And then you have the keepsake. Great art, by the way. And this is a different new card that we see for the first time in this installment. I'm very interested to see how they work. I extremely like the dice in the game, but also the new color is amazing. And we have different custom dice as well, you see. How cool are these? Yep. Then we have familiars, which is also something new. And these are some of the familiars that you have in the game. Again, these are glossy, so you can write on them. They're dry erase boards. Flying snake. And they also have beautiful art by the back, as always. The art in this game is absolutely amazing. Okay. Cool. Then this is another tray, so you can also, again, use them to keep things handy around the play area. We have a ton of boards, which we're going to see in a sec. Our dry erase markers, like always, are plenty. We have our velvet pouch, and we have our minis. And these are some really nice miniatures. I really like both the way they look and their posture, and I think they're very fitting to the scene. Look at that. Nice details, yeah. Look great. Okay, here's where we're going to put our hexes. Have the cards, and then we have this foam, which actually I'm not sure we're going to need it if we are trying to put also the components of the return to the domain of Mirza in the same box, which I think it would fit if I'm not mistaken, but in any case I like the fact that the box is bigger for sure. So lots of punch boards, and this is these are the borders that you can use, the bottom and top, where you have your play the cards and then you start building your map. And I'm going to show you the hexes up close, but let me unpunch first everything. These are special tiles that you have. Great quality cardstock. And this is these are the top borders, or bottom, depending on where you want to put them. Okay, so these sit across and then you build them up in between. For those of you who see the HEXplore system for the first time, it has an absolutely amazing map configuration option, which makes it both modular and fully replayable and fully different each time you play the game. I'm going to show you up close the art on the hexes, because it's something typically overseen, because it has a lot of detail, and it's one of the additional things I love about the game. The art is amazing, both in the cards or the back of the boards or whatever, but also on the map tiles. So why I'm saying this, because with each title you have a different color which is dominant. Like here it's purple, it makes sense because we're talking about defeating creatures of the night, etc., and vampires. But on top of that, the level of art and detail is absolutely amazing. Okay, so let me show you up close some of the art on the tiles. These are amazing, and you can also see you have some art on the back, which is stunning. But anyway, check out the level of detail you have on the map board. For example, you see this broken wall, or this scorched earth, or the burned parts of the forest. And look at how the sunlight only appears on the top of the trees. And this is a cave here, and so many things to discover. This is really, really amazing. I'm loving the art. Different points of interest. Look at the red tree, the bridge. So it's full of details, that's what I'm trying to say, and extremely nice art and different types of terrain and different opportunities for players to discover. There's a ridge here. Same goes for the major ones, which you build and then you set them side by side. So these start right off the board, and the same goes for the other two pieces, which sit somehow like that, and click here. Okay, and then in between you build the hexes. So absolutely amazing. And then we also have these tiles. which are part of the dungeon. And this is something I'm extremely excited about, because it brings the HEXplore system on a completely new level. Suddenly we have dungeons that they're built with these smaller map tiles, and you're moving from the top of the earth down underneath, and this is really fitting also to the theme of and the scene of this installment. So look at that. They come together and they build a labyrinth of walls. The players move across the labyrinth, and this is absolutely amazing. I'm excited, beyond excitement, for the dungeon aspect, which you can also use on the other games. So how cool is that? So for me, this makes it immediately one of the titles. If you're only getting one, I would get this one. I'm really excited because of the different play styles, and the dungeon is one of the things that I'm excited. But I love the other titles as well, and their setting and their scene. But being able to also use dungeons on top of your normal adventure boards, it's absolutely amazing. And look at the detail of the corridors, and there is also very nice detail here, like bones and treasure chests and abandoned piles of treasure or thrones, or I don't know what, warriors falling and traps. Amazing. Okay, then we have the Mirza Noctis, Undead or Ascendant, and this is the Ascendant, and this is either the keepsakes or the greater aspects, and you play with one or the other. So really looking forward to see how these work in practice. We also have these modular type of abilities, which really another reason to be excited about the game is, if you love the system, you already know why I'm excited. But every subsequent installment has additional functionality, additional ways to play the game, additional components, and it makes the system even better. They manage to stretch the development and go into areas and directions that I wouldn't think that they would be possible. But this is how actually you take a good game and you develop it even better. So anyway, okay. So this is how you count critical wounds. And before going to the boards, yeah, actually let's go to the boards. So game turns, you have the movement, the skill, the conditions. You can be bleeding, you can be diseased, you can be cursed, you can be poisoned, all sorts of different things. So as always. Then from skill you go to circumstance, you go to event, and you go to the villain phase. These are the phases of the game explained, so you can put that somehow, maybe like that, next to your player board, so you can act as a reminder. You have the keywords on the back. Then you have the battle map and the items in the village and the monastery explained, and the battle map. And this is again dry erase, so you can easily draw and delete them and erase them with your markers. Okay. Then we have the different locations explained. So this is the village, and these are the collectors. Amazing art. The Plague Doctor. Wow. This is a crypt. You can activate runes or you can do blood magic. Fitting. And this is a dungeon. Then you have the monastery. And all the information on the back. So these are essentially uber super duper player aids in a way. Okay, and here we have, so these are the locations. This is the game turns respectively. And here we have the different options that you have for this installment. And again, look at the back of the art. It's absolutely amazing. A bard. Okay, a ton of options. So in this installment, you can be a force romancer, you can be a warlock, you can be a surge eater, you can be a monk, you can be an enchanter, you can be a witch, you can be a medium, you can be a cursed one, you can be a bard, you can be a shadow reader, an inquisitor, and a scout. A ton of options again. And then here are the evil enemies. You'll be facing the Hellhound or the Dark Fae. You'll be facing Nagaida's Machine. How cool is that? Or the Hermit. You'll be facing Kezu, and I'm sure I'm pronouncing everything wrong, but that's fine, or Kyle's Manor, the Alraun, or the Mad Alchemist, Gelza, or the Cardinal Coven, Midhook, or the Master from the Deep, Dullahan, yeah, looks like the Headless, or the Lacan, Malekith, or the Graveyard Golem, wow, and Raveziel the Fallen, or Mirza Noctis. And here it's explained, and here has a special blood pool track. So really looking forward to play the game, because it offers a ton. Not to mention the enemies are more dynamic. They go beyond like a pure monster from the other games. You are facing machines. You're facing different cults, for example. So really excited, as you can understand. And then we have the cards, the last thing that I'm going to show you. So we have the power-up deck, and like the fact that they always come with pack boxes. Let's open the decks now carefully. I'm super excited to play this this game. So this is a power-up deck: attack, defend, first mastery, secondary mastery, so on. Navigate, explore. The art is amazing. I like the fact that they went with landscape, and you have more area for art than before. So it would be a pity not to show this absolutely amazing art. So they nailed it here. Really well done by going a landscape for these cards. Navigate, explore, survival, health. Oh, okay. I can't wait to finish this video and get into it. Really great art. Blessed, damned, favored opponents, and familiars. Okay, cool. So this is a power-up deck. In its own pack box. Cool. This is a day deck, and there is a night deck respectively. Day deck, clearly visible from the back, and you have all sorts of different cards here with a lot of flavor, a lot of storytelling, a lot of narration, but also things for players to face and overcome. Okay. Absolutely amazing art. Then we have the night deck. And again, I like the fact that they went with day-night decks here and the day-night approach. It's so fitting to this specific installment. It's so fitting to the scene and where the game takes us this time. These are clearly the night deck back, and you can see them from the back, very different from the day deck. And again, you have all sorts of different things you'll be facing. Lots and lots of situations and things to discover. Okay. The last deck that I'm showing you is an encounter deck. And here we'll find all the different monsters and situations we will be facing. The Hanged Man, Risen Vermin. You see that you have different cards and different art and different things to face on each and every card I'm passing in front of your eyes. That's amazing content. I can't emphasize enough how beautiful this game is, how rich this game is, how great this system is to begin with, even from the first installment. I'm loving the system, first of all, to begin. It's an amazing system, and it deserves 2 thumbs up only for the system. But boy, do they build on each and every installment every time they release a new one. And it's become better and bigger and more versatile and more ambitious and more interesting and more... Anyway, I'm going to stop mumbling here. You get my drift, I think. And the last thing I'm going to show you is this last smaller deck, which is the dungeon decks. Okay. We have 2 dungeon decks, the dungeon and the blood magic, actually, yeah. And with all sorts of different things to face, and these are completely different decks, one from the other, okay. And the blood magic one. So the fact that we are already recording 34 minutes, that means if you check the rest of my unboxings for the other titles, how much bigger this project is. So, wow. Okay, so there you have it. These are all the components of the domain of Mirza Noctis, and I will be coming back with more material released about the game. Really looking forward to dive into this amazing world and find out all about the new nice things and perks they have in store for us. So, many thanks for watching.